everyone. Welcome to the panel. My name is Zaji Reyes. I'm a part of the ecosystem team here at Chainlink Labs and super excited to dive into some high yield strategies in DeFi. I'll go ahead and have each of our panelists please introduce themselves. Feel free to talk a little bit about your project, your background, and how you're integrated with Chainlink. Let's go ahead and start with Yaron.
Hi, I'm a founder and lead developer of B Protocol. B Protocol is a backstop solution for lending platforms, which enables them to offer better leverage ratios and capital efficiencies, and basically aggregates user liquidity for liquidations, and from their side allow them also to get some yield on being the backstop. Previously was CTO of Kyber Network, and what we do with Chainlink, it's actually twofold. So we have a pricing algorithm that somewhat relies and reads the Chainlink price feed. And in addition, we also now use in beta mode the Chainlink keeper system, which actually makes sure that our pricing algorithm does not deviate too much from DEX prices, and if it does, it simply invokes arbitrage transaction.
Amazing, thank you. Monir.
Hi everyone, I'm Monir from the Paraswap. It's a liquidity aggregator on Ethereum blockchain with sidechains, and very soon on layer 2 solutions. We allow traders, dApps, protocols to access decentralized liquidity and basically make the best possible trades on those chains. We use Chainlink. It's been a while right now for the price feed side as a protection mechanism for the end users to spot if there's any kind of disconnect between prices, and also for our algorithm to be able to take gas prices and market prices into consideration to minimize the fees and to maximize the prices. And very soon we'll be integrating keepers for limit orders that will be also using Paraswap, which I think is very cool.
Some big news there, thank you. And Mo, go ahead.
Hi, this is Mo from Seller. So Seller is a layer 2 scaling platform. Our aim is to bring fast, secure, and very low-cost applications to blockchain using layer 2 scaling technologies like state channel, rollup, and other ways. So we launched the world's first generalized state channel networks and continue to push on the frontier of layer 2 scaling with advanced rollup technology. Recently, we launched Layer 2 Finance, which is a DeFi Layer 2 scaling solution to help existing DeFi protocol to scale on Layer 2 without moving the protocol, but moving the user and reduce the cost for the user significantly. And we also launched the C Bridge that allows the user to bridge their liquidity across multi-chains very easily. So we use Chainlink to use the price feed as a general condition for some of the generalized conditional transfer in state channel, so that we can kind of rely on price feed in terms of like what is the result of some off-chain or layer 2 conditional transfer. And we also use Chainlink's randomness oracle in certain cases for the layer 2 finance as well. So yeah, this is us.
Great to have you, thank you. Lena, let's hear a little bit about Mcdex. Oh, you might want to unmute.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. My name is Lena. I'm the BD director for the Mcdex. So Mcdex is the first fully permissionless DEX for trading the perpetual contract. And that is the capital efficiency efficient with the top market liquidity. And we provide up to 20 times leverage. And our fully decentralized trading platform is powered by the AMM and allows anyone can create any kind of contract and also can trade on our platform permissionless, which provide a dramatically increase the market diversity. And working with Chainlink, as everybody knows, the Oracle is a very critical infrastructure for any decentralized perpetual platform. So the price fees is play a very important role to determine the profit and the loss of the traders. especially during the liquidation process when the market is volatile. That's when the Oracle may not work as expected. However, working with Chainlink in the past, we found that Chainlink provide very good service and provide us very accurate and stable data. And there are other aspects we also appreciate Chainlink provide is their decentralization and the price deviation and also their availabilities for the price feed. Thank you for.
Thank you for being here. Okay, Brian, let's hear it.
Hi, I'm Brian Kerr, the CEO and co-founder of Kava. Kava is a cross-chain DeFi platform. It's a layer 1 blockchain that provides a number of different pieces of infrastructure to support DeFi apps on top of it. We use Chainlink oracles. We actually built a custom implementation of Chainlink oracles so prices can be posted directly on the Kava blockchain. And once it's there, it can be used by a number of our DeFi apps, including Kava's collateralized loans, which can be used for like BTC and BNB, where users can receive a stablecoin in return. It can be used in the money markets where people can supply assets and borrow them. And it's kind of backing all the liquidations and auctions that we use on Kava for those apps and all apps in the future.
Great. Thank you everyone for introducing yourselves. I'd love to dive into what each project is working on a little more deeply. So we'll go ahead and start with Mo. If you don't mind sharing a little bit more about how Stellar is using layer 2 solutions to really push mainstream adoption for blockchain, that'd be great to dive into that a little deeper.
Definitely sounds good. So, Stellar, we see ourselves as a middleware layer for layer 2 scaling. And, for us, we really work on 2 aspects of things. One is to reduce the cost of user interacting with layer 1 and all the other chains. And the other is to provide interoperability solutions. So for the reducing the cost side, we have like 2 sectors. One is on the gaming, the other is on the DeFi space. For the gaming, we launched something called Stellar X using our state channel technology to enable users to have a very high interactive gaming applications and payment processing capability. And based on that, there is a platform called Stellar X, which is a gaming platform for esport matching and tournament matches. And that game has achieved about 1 million users right now in the US. And then there's also the aspect of layer 2 finance, which is most recently launched. The one way to look at this is what we call a public transportation system for DeFi applications. That is, we're not moving DeFi applications to layer 2, but aggregating all the users there. And when the users say, okay, I want to go to Compound, I want to go somewhere else, all the users' requests are aggregated on layer 2 into a single request on layer 1. Therefore, they split the cost of kind of one single transaction instead of individually making each and individual transactions. So that significantly saves users cost on that front. And we also have C-Bridge, which is really focusing on the multi-chain interoperability future to seamlessly bridge, right now assets across different chains. With extremely low delay and low cost, if it is especially for layer 2 to layer 2 or sidechain to layer 2 bridging. Right now, there isn't a lot of really good solutions, and it takes some time to kind of do that bridge. And C-Bridge really provides the capability to do that with low cost and low latency. And anyone can join C-Bridge by running a node and provide liquidity to the network. Within 1 week of launch, we have processed more than close to $4 million transactions right now across all the chains, and that actually Chainlink also supports them. So that's just kind of a quick intro about us.
Yeah, no, that's great. As a user myself, it's always interesting to hear how you can have lower cost effective and efficient transactions. So thank you for chatting about that. Yaron, it would be great to hear, backstop programs like B protocol are quite common in CeFi and traditional finance. How do you take something that works well in Web 2 and have it run in a decentralized manner in DeFi?
Yeah. So actually, previous to B protocol, we were doing some backstopping on CeFi, and then starting to work on DeFi and doing liquidation bots over there. It became very apparent how inefficient DeFi liquidations are. So actually, initially, we did try to mimic the CeFi backstop structure, and we identified that the real issue, and it's very hard to onboard professional traders because of all the MEV, the miners extractable value, and this is why traders are very reluctant to participate in DeFi liquidations. So initially we tried to onboard that, but so we had this very complex setting which actually ruled out the MEV. But then we realized that like the real promise of DeFi is actually like put the power in the hands of like the people, the end users, the retail users. So we actually pivoted into more retail user-based backstop. So basically, we allow users to pool their liquidity together and use it for liquidations, where the main novelty here is in our rebalancing solution. So, like the real art, in a sense, in backstop is, okay, you got some liquidity with a discount, how you get rid of it, how you sell it back into the market. So we developed a new algorithm, partly based on the Chainlink price feed. And actually with that, we expected it to be much easier, because DeFi has a lot of user liquidity, which is available. So it will give rise actually to a much stronger backstop than the CeFi one.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah, and I think just the highlight of putting the power back to the people is really important, and that's exactly why B Protocol is doing so well. So thank you. And Monir, on the topic of liquidity, what is it that Paraswap is doing that differentiates them from other liquidity aggregators and DEX aggregators?
So yeah, if you see, there are three big actors right now, and we are part of the three. Each is taking a specific road. One of them is taking the full retail part, which is cool. What we try to do is build an infrastructure that's going to be decentralized in the future, and what's going to become a decentralized middleware that is not owned by a single team. That's not obviously going to happen tomorrow, but what we're building right now is an API first product that is made for others to integrate. And we are the first user, or the first power user of this through our UI that already processed around $9 billion in volume, especially the 8 was done only the last 5 months. And that's big part of it was made through the API and our UI. So I would say that what differentiated us more than others is this middleware approach and this API and infrastructure approach that others are not necessarily taking, because we think that the use cases for retail are very diverse, and we're better to focus only on the infrastructure side and let other folks like RZ, MetaMask, Ledger to focus more on the retail in their perspective.
Okay, so focusing on middleware, we'll take that one. Thank you, Monir. And Brian, I've been following the Kava ecosystem for a while, but it's definitely expanded a lot since its inception. Would you be able to talk more about some of the dApps and products being built on top of it?
Yeah, sure. So Kava started as a single application blockchain focused on providing collateralized loans to assets like BNB, BTC, XRP. That's in production for over a year now. And I think it's actually still, it might be the longest standing cross-chain DeFi platform that's out. Still no hacks and exploits, fingers crossed. It's always good to put safety of users first. But from there, we built a lot of the bits and pieces, the cross-chain bridges to move assets. As we mentioned, Chainlink's integration onto Kava, providing very secure and reliable price feeds. And then we also have different modules which perform functions like liquidation engines, auctions, and other things. So we've been, from that point, very quickly been able to launch new applications. The second application that we launched in November of 2020 is called the Hard Protocol. It provides a money market service to all the assets that are transported to the Kava blockchain. And we're actually in progress of launching our third application, which should be out by the end of August, and that'll be a cross-chain AMM, so an autonomous market-making platform. So that'll be very exciting. It'll really enhance liquidity and what people can do with the assets once it's there. And then from there, in our roadmap, we actually have other applications. They're both being built by the Kava Labs team as well as external teams. And those include kind of like a Curve analog, and a third-party team is working on that. and then also robo-advisors, which will allow people to kind of look across the whole ecosystem of applications that live on Kava and deploy capital efficiently to get the best yields.
Well, yeah, so there's a lot on the roadmap that we have to look forward to. So definitely keep us updated on that. And Lena, I'd love to hear a little bit more about the governance structure and how it works, and how does liquidity mining operate within Mcdex? Please jump into that.
Sure. So our governance is fully operated by Mcdex DAO. So first, the DAO vote will capture the values from the Mcdex trading platform. The value is mainly from the transaction fee. So for example, we are going to launch our version 3 on mainnet very soon. So the DAO will operate several contracts on the platform. And then the transaction fee right now is set at 0.7%. Yeah, by the way, since I mentioned that we're going to launch our version 3 really soon, this is our version, we're going to launch on the Arbitrum. As a flagship project on Arbitrum, we expect to launch on the same day as the Arbitrum launch their mainnet. So this is very exciting. Okay, let's go back to our DAO. So since once we capture the values in our DAO vault, and all the MC holders, they can governance the DAO to decide how we want to use these funds too. So based on our current tokenomics, so the new issued MCB is confined by the trading volume on the platform. And the MCB holders can also decide if they want to issue more MCB, or they want to say, okay, we want the new issued MCB to be distributed on liquid mining or transaction mining, or even like they can vote it to see if we want to invest on other projects inside of our ecosystem. So there are a lot of cases we can provide for the MCB holders to decide how we want to distribute their tokens. And for the liquid mining, so this is how it works in our program. First, the liquid provider will deposit one single asset. And the secondly, there is no impermanent loss for the LP provider, but it does have some, the LP provider does take some market maker loss. And secondly, the LP provider, they also can share the certain percentage from the transaction fee. And also, we have a special program when we launch our version 3. There is some extra MCB reward for those liquid providers. We are going to announce that soon. And also, based on all this liquid mining, the testing from the past month in our testnet, we can see the LP APY is relatively competitive, even though without any MCB rewards. So everyone can anticipate that this is a really good program for the liquid mining.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that, and also congrats on the Arbitrum news. That's really huge. Cool. So we'll go ahead and dive into some questions for everyone. First, I'd love to ask, DeFi has been growing tremendously this past year, and we're seeing a lot of institutional funds coming into the space. Does anyone have an opinion on if that's a good thing, or is it just diluting high yield pools? Does anybody think there's something specific there they'd like to share?
I would say the point of DeFi is to aggregate capital so that DeFi applications can actually be more efficient. There's capital efficiencies to be had. So I think institutional capital coming in equals more capital into these DeFi applications. And while that might result in a little lower yields for the average user in different cases and circumstances, I think as a whole, and to improve the robustness of all these applications, it's actually making them more capital efficient and therefore being able to provide a better service to everyone through that.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any opinions? Maybe Monir.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a great thing because, yes, as Brian said, it's more capital, so it will be very beneficial, and it's bringing more efficiency into DeFi, and also maybe creating new use cases for DeFi, as we can see some DeFi protocols started to create institutional versions or variations of it, like Aave with Aave Pro and others, which brings DeFi not only being a high yield, I would say Ponzi stuff, as we some people can perceive it, but also as a technology that can play the role of a backend for the future of finance. So I think finance or institutional finance coming is a validation that this technology is superior to what exists already. That is, I think, is obsolete.
Yep, and just adding on top of that, I think like institutional entering and participation is definitely good. But from a technology point of view, like what we are working on here is to make sure that when the institutional money start to flow in, and in big chunks, they're not showing a very significant advantage comparing to just normal users. So we can still keep the entire ecosystem relatively flat and accessible for everyone. In the ecosystem, and kind of having everyone on the level playground with all the institutions will be crucial for the ethos and also kind of the culture of the blockchain, basically.
I know that's definitely a great opinion. Thank you. And Yaron, do you think that building DeFi projects and protocols in a digitally native DeFi way is the best way to go about it, or should we be decentralizing these tools?
No, so the approach we take is actually making things like more decentralized, like more in the backbone rather than user-facing protocols. However, it's all kind of coupled together, where like protocols level are very user-facing, etc. So at least our approach is like to get things more decentralized, more distributed. But yeah, I think moving forward, I imagine like a lot of value will be captured at the application level, which could potentially be more like centralized, which will offer also like better user experience, etc. But so there are room for both, but at least the backbone should be decentralized as possible.
Yeah, and Lena, do you feel the same way? How does Mcdex approach building institutional tools? Oh, you're on mute, sorry.
Sorry again. Yes, definitely. So for the Mcdex, we think it is definitely a good thing, so that we can build some decentralized tools for the whole DeFi world, because we truly believe that in the DeFi, decentralized is the key. And it's very important to boost the whole ecosystem to grow, and also will encourage everybody will participate in a very fearless and then security fashion to do any kinds of the trading or any other projects to help each other. So we definitely work on that very hard, and then we also think to building over around Mcdex, the protocol. We would like to build the whole ecosystem. We want to help other projects can grow as the way the DeFi should work. So yeah.
Thank you. And anybody can answer this, but curious, how are you incentivizing your users to get involved, and especially newcomers to DeFi? How are you making things a little easier for them?
Well, I can go first. Well, for us, the key thing here is to reduce the cost for the newcomers, right? So like if this is some newcomer coming into the DeFi space and entering the space through Ethereum, the first thing they will see is, okay, I'm going to try with $1,000, but like a couple of $1,000 combined with close to $100 transaction fees on the mainnet means that before they do anything in DeFi, they're actually in the loss. Basically, like even a one year yield on a couple of $1,000 combined with $100 of a transaction fee will make no one wants to kind of enter the DeFi space. right? Because like that's just not feasible. So what we're doing on this space is to allow the users to kind of reduce the cost of interaction by just depositing once into the layer 2 finance ecosystem and allow them to kind of play with different DeFi strategies and protocols without, first of all, the complexity of understanding each and every details of the DeFi strategy, and also significantly lower cost by splitting all the cost with all the other retail users. So really, we're trying to kind of help everyone kind of achieve a very level playground with all the whales, even in Ethereum layer 1. And so is it capable of kind of doing the same thing for all the layer 2 and the sidechain and different chains as well. And the C-Bridge is along a similar kind of spirit. They're here to allow users in these different layer 2 ecosystem who are onboarded in a certain layer 2 ecosystem first to still be able to move their asset freely across different kind of chain ecosystems without kind of suffering from the mandatory bridging step between layer 2 to layer 1, then back to layer 2 again, which kind of basically consumes their cost. So a lot of our users we're seeing are bridging transactions in the order of hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars, which would not be possible if they just directly using the layer 1 native bridge. So this is like what we're kind of trying to do to help users to enter this space easier.
Yeah, and
go ahead, Lena.
Yeah, sorry. So for us, we actually thinking the good UI UX is really a good way to introduce some new user to the DeFi world, because something we want to build on our version 3 is a very smooth, easy to use platform. So any user can adapt it really quick. And secondly, as I just mentioned earlier, the transaction fee can be high sometimes. So that's why we have a special program we call the transaction mining. That is provided all the traders 100% rebate for their transaction fee. So I think it's really good for them to just participate into this perpetual contract trading world. And the third way we help the normal users is we think as us, we can use as a hedge tools for them. So for example, the liquid provider, they may take some market making loss, but there is a way they can short on our perpetual contract so that they can hedge the risk from that side. So I think there are a couple of ways can encourage users to participate, and I think the DeFi is some really is a innovative and great tools on the top of the traditional finance tools. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I know we only have a couple minutes left, so just to close things out, I would love to hear everyone just really quickly share what type of high yield instruments each of your companies is looking to improve upon as we close out 2021. And Brian, I know you were going to chat on the last question, so maybe I'll start with you.
Oh yeah, if I don't mind, I would just like to touch on the last question.
Yeah, please.
So something that we do at Kava here is we actually take a two-pronged approach for users. There's the technical users, which we're building out what I would call like a decentralized Coinbase approach, where anybody can land on the website or interact directly with the blockchain, and they get all the bits and tools that you would find on Coinbase. So that's being able to trade. Well, at the launch of Paraswap, they'll be able to trade between all the major assets. With all of this is on decentralizing the Kava blockchain with low transaction fees and the like. But then also they'll have access to high yield instruments via the hard money market. Some of those, by the way, are like with USDX stablecoins. Has an effective APY of about 100% currently. So get them while they're hot. They sound too good to be true, and it's very good, and I'm a participant. Lots of other people are participants. I think it'll be the case as DeFi is growing that yields are just going to be far greater than what you can get in cash accounts elsewhere. So by all means, you take advantage of it. In a year or two, I think all those yields will be gone. But in our platform, there's just a number of different high yield instruments, but particularly for the hard money market, I think BTC and USDX. And actually BUSD are all very high yields. I believe over 20% for all. So I'd point people towards that. And then at the launch of Paraswap, being an LP into the pools that are available there, I think will be very high yields at the start, and for particular pools over time as well.
Thank you. One word, Monir. What are you guys looking to improve upon? One word.
So for us, we don't have really any high yield, but we allow those who have high yield to have a swap API or a swap UI in order to convert their profits into another assets. And yeah, we like a utility tool for these guys who are yield farming and getting those habits.
Thank you. Okay, everyone, we are out of time, but it's been amazing listening to all of you. Thank you for being here, and have a great time at the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zaji. Definitely appreciate it. And yeah, it's amazing to see the difference between what DeFi is actually building and the yield that's happening versus what's in cash accounts around the world.